The United States' involvement in the war in South Vietnam, as well as in Laos and Cambodia, was an attempt to stop communist aggression and keep Southeast Asia free. It was a commitment made by 4 United States presidents, that grew from a small force of American advisory personnel to one of over 500,000 Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force participants.
It was a mean war for the Army, but it wasn't that mean for the Air Force.
The Communist Viet Cong and North Vietnamese armies escalated the war in an attempt to cut South Vietnam in half, and adopted a tactic of stand up and fight with battalion-sized forces. But this tactic made the communists more vulnerable to air power. The decision was made to intensify the use of aircraft in the Vietnam action.
You didn't fly in Vietnam at all?
None. Drove a motorcycle. Had a desk job. I was in charge of about 125 or 150 rifles, M1A or whatever the hell they were, that we used over there. I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it. So somebody died, I heard about them dying. They died. Everybody's got to die sometime. I'm really not sympathetic toward death. But I never worried about it because I knew those Koreans were there. We had people from Korea that came over to help us out in Vietnam. They were the people that we helped in the Korean War. These people were very gung-ho. They just killed everybody. They just did massacre. They never took any prisoners. They killed them. And being that they were 30 miles south of us, we didn't have to worry about any Vietnamese coming into our base. We sat back, drank coffee, so forth and so on. The only thing wrong was that we had a coffee maker that was made about 50,000 cups of coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning. When I got there to get coffee was at about 9 or 10 o'clock, and it was lukewarm. That was the only tough thing. I knew no milk. Then we got moved down to this other base. And being a major and being life support officer, I said, where do we live? We live in that building there. And you're the first one here, so you can pick your room. So I went all the way down to the end of the hall, picked a nice room at the end of the hall, and that's where I lived for the 6 months. So I had it really made in that respect. But I got orders to go to England.
Back in Europe, the nations of the West still face the same unpredictable foe, watching always for that slight relaxation of defense which would enable him to enslave more people. That is why Britain, age-old champion of freedom and self-government, has taken the peacetime step of permitting another nation to build, maintain, and staff air bases within her borders. Thus today, American and British flags fly side by side all over England.
Right from Vietnam, I'm going to England. I'm going to be back in KC-135s. We would be the airborne command post in case there was a war in Europe. We would be the people that tell people what to do.
Spairford Air Base. At this B-47 jet bomber base, a simulated alert has just been sounded, and the post is a hive of activity.
Every 8 hours, they got a new airplane taking off, airborne all the time, with generals on board. We had about 3 radio operators, 3 teletype operators, about 6 or 7 generals, colonels, and so forth. We flew to northern Norway and we spied on the Russians on our airplane.
Back on the post, muscles and nerves grown stiff.
They gave us a house about 13 miles from my base.
Like a small department store back home.
Well, this little town of Feltwell was something that they had during World War II. They had all these little bitty bases all over England. The Germans couldn't bomb all these little bitty fields all over.
No one who has ever seen the English countryside can forget it. The peaceful, gently rolling...
This base wasn't used after World War II. So we moved in to this home and had our own home and so forth and so on.
And there are a host of things to be seen in it. But every once in a while, a man has to slow down and take a breather, and maybe think over some of the myriad impressions that have been crowding in on him. History, literature, royalty, they're all here, contained within a few square miles. And you will take these impressions back to the post and back home, and remember them all the rest of your life.
Well, there's one chance of getting his royal flush. I was at this base in Houston. They had a game at the officers club. And I watched these guys playing pot limit poker. Hundreds of dollars on the table. And I said, Jim, that sounds like fun. Jack and a 9. And then one day there was a seat open. I thought, well, hell, I got about 40, 50 bucks in my billfold. I'll get in the game.
Dick,
I just happened to hit good cards, and I won.
Part3 is all.
I started playing poker all the time, and I had built up maybe $400 or $500 for poker money, which Joe, my wife, didn't know anything about. When I was back from Korea and so forth, she found out I had about $400 or $500 in the bank that she didn't know about. She said, you know what? I think we need a new bed. So we ended up getting a king-size bed. That's just a fun game.
Hey, Art. Hey.
I got some news for you.
Okay. Okay.
That was when I retired. That would have been in, I think it's 1968 is the picture taken. Yeah, 1968. But I retired in 70. So that was 2 years before I retired. I knew I had to do something else besides fly airplanes from now on. But I wanted a job as a salesperson with only working for me. I can be working for somebody that's telling me I gotta go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I go to work when I want to go to work. I can work 3 days a week, I can work 4 days a week. I don't have to work at all if I don't want to. After I doing this for about 6, 7 years, I get this card in the mail from a buddy of mine that I've been in service with. He said, have you gone back into dancing, back into teaching dancing? And I thought, shit, why not?
Other dancers may be on the floor, dear, but my eyes will see only you.
So I said to Joe, my wife, I said, you know what? I think I'll go out to the Cotillion Ballroom, talk to a few people, see if there's anybody's interested in taking dance lessons. I taught out there for about 4 or 5 weeks. I had a chance to go another place and teach dancing. And then they heard about me at the university. They called me up and said, are you interested? I said, sure. I've been very fortunate that I've had really a pretty good life, a really good life.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me.